Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Jasson. Thank you for joining us. We are again telecasting from the lobby downtown of Fairfield Federal. We're glad you could be with us today, and as we begin our taping today, it's just a beautiful, has kind of a fallish feel, a little cool today as it's been, but it's a great spring day outside as we begin our taping today, and we're glad you're with us, so thank you for joining us. Gonna talk about the first segment today. One of the programs that really I enjoy talking about is what once was the West Afterschool program that began over in West School, and they started there, and now they branched out to other schools, and actually we have a new director with us. I'd like to introduce her to you, Karen Martin, who is the executive director of the Afterschool programs of Lancaster.
Correct.
I struggle with that. Before Karen was here, many of you might remember Michelle Richland, who we would have on frequently, and we talked about that. And now we had her on several months ago. She is now above your program. She is at the next level, and she oversees programs like yours.
Correct. She's with Ohio After School Network.
Yeah.
She's the executive director there.
Yeah.
So she's overseeing all of us in the whole state now.
Well, she's a super girl. We always enjoyed having you on. We thank you for joining us too. Again, Karen Martin, who's executive director of After School Programs of Lancaster, and you operate out of, I guess it's called Connections West.
Correct.
What
yes.
used to be West School there, and 6th and Garfield, right in there. Tell us about yourself. Are you a local girl? How'd you ever get involved with the West After School program?
Sure. So I grew up in Logan, moved here when I went to college. I went to OUL and graduated with an early childhood education degree. I taught kindergarten for a few years here at Fairfield Christian Academy, and once I had children of my own, I stayed home for a little bit to raise them and tutored students off and on while I was doing that. And then they became a little bit older, and I saw some positions open up with After School, and that kind of fit into my schedule with not being a completely full-time job. So I actually started with After School as an academic coach working for a 21st Century Grant. And then after that, I became a site director, then a site director for a 21st Century Grant, and then here I am now.
So you sort of grown into the program.
Yes.
You know it from the grassroots
Absolutely.
all the way up. So now here we are, 2021. Much of the pandemic has passed us. I don't know if we'll ever say it's completely past us. I'm not sure we'll ever get to that. We hope so. But as you look back at 2020 and how that year was for you over there, how did after school programs handle that?
You know, I'm really proud of my staff and all the challenges they overcame with coming up with creative ideas to still reach the students. We've been able to create little bags that our students were able to use materials out of that were assigned to them individually, and we rotated out activities in their bags every few weeks so they wouldn't be bored. And it was a real struggle trying to learn and interact with our students, seeing them just twice a week instead of 5 days a week. But our staff really put forth the effort to make sure they were building those relationships and made the students feel welcome and excited to be there, even though we were all spaced so far apart and not able to physically, interact as much as before. So I'm really proud. My staff has stepped up and been very creative in overcoming those barriers.
Did you cut down the number of days then from what you did do? I don't know if it was every day or not, but did you cut that down to another lesser amount of days?
Yes, so because we use Lancaster City School buildings, we don't have a facility of our own. We can't offer childcare the days the students didn't come to the school building.
Sure.
So we did see students just twice a week, and then the other group the other 2 days a week. So
now, as you look at your kids in your schools, how do you think, especially the younger ones, which is really the ones you deal with, how do you think they handled all this being in, being out, more out than in for a while, and then now kind of getting back a little bit. But how do you think they handled this Zoom thing, not being with their buddies?
Probably the same way that we are handling it. Took some adjustment at first, a learning curve, definitely. They crave that interaction when they are in person with us. But they've really picked up on the electronic side of it, and they teach us how to do some of the things when we're trying to work with them that way. And we've been able to offer virtual programming to our grant students on Mondays, so they can still get some programming when they're not in the building with us, and do some art activities, some enrichment activities, and family engagement even that way.
Now, what buildings, as I indicated earlier, when you began, not when you, but when the program began, it was simply the West Afterschool program. Now, what schools are you in now?
So we operate in all 5 elementary schools. So that's Gorsuch West, Medill, Mount Pleasant, Targhee Trails, and Talmadge.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you. We are applying for grants from the Nita M. Lowry 21st Century Community Learning Center federal funds for the 2 junior highs for next year. And we operate grants in Gorsuch West, Medill, and Mount Pleasant currently, where students can come at no cost to receive that extra academic help with language arts, math, social emotional learning, just economically disadvantaged in general. So we're looking to apply for Targhee Trails and Talmadge to be able to offer that for next school year as well.
So if everything worked out so that you're in everywhere you wanted to be, and you'd be in all the elementaries plus both junior highs.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And how many students total do you think that would encompass?
Typically it's about 50 students a site is what we average when we have grant programming.
And this is a decision made by their parents that they want to get the kids into this program?
Yes, so ultimately they're referred by the school staff as far as testing results, or someone just sees a student that needs a little extra or could benefit from being around their friends a little bit longer at the end of the school day. We teach so much more than just academics, social interaction, and building relationships. So they're referred to us, and then it is a process if the parents are able. Some aren't able to come pick up, so transportation is a barrier we have to overcome at times, or different things like sports schedules can get in the way of attending after school, but we try to make accommodations for those. And now with Zoom, something that we are familiar with using in our program, that may be a way that we can reach more students next year as well that aren't able to attend every day.
And so your program actually begins at the bell of dismissal?
Correct.
You begin from then for how long?
We operate until 6 o'clock in the elementary schools, 5:30 in the junior highs.
And then the parents come pick these kids up that are in it. So I don't know, what time do kids get out? 2:30 or 3:30?
3:30.
3:30 in the elementaries. Okay. And then you're there from 3:30, and you meet in just a room in the building?
We use the cafeteria, we use the gym, sometimes the art room.
Well, if you have
library.
50, that'd be
Yes.
that'd be a big program. You'd have to have a
Yes.
larger than simply a classroom.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the schools are great giving us space. They accommodate what we need, and especially with needing extra space with having to social distance, and they've really worked well with us.
So let's say you're in an elementary here, and it begins at 3:30. How many people are there? The adults, how many people start this?
If it's childcare, we just have our 2 staff members.
Okay.
If it's a grant program, we have upwards of 6 or 7.
And those are volunteers?
These are paid staff. Yes.
So if someone would, like I say, I was a volunteer at one time. I tutored at what was then the Old West School. Do you still have a need for people like that?
Absolutely. I think now the need is even greater.
Really?
The more one-on-one a student can get with some of these, just skill practice and review and games, the better they're going to succeed. And we can't offer one-on-one, we can do smaller groups, so 1 to 6, 1 to 7, but one-on-one works even better. So the need for volunteers is great.
And you've had probably people that have been volunteers for many years?
I have had a few, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They just come every year and say, I'm in again, and they enjoy it. Do they? And I guess you do kids of all ages at the elementary?
So K through 5. Yes.
K through 5.
Yes,
okay.
And it's a great volunteer opportunity for high school students that maybe need some community service hours. We filled out paperwork for students in National Honor Society that needed to do some of that and fulfill the requirement.
High school kids that actually could come in, they probably
Yes.
enjoy that. And I'm sure these
Yes.
kids enjoy having them there.
It is great, yes.
Yeah, they'd be like
Absolutely.
superstars in there. Yeah.
Yep. And then we have volunteer opportunities now through Zoom, so they can actually be at home, Zoom into our program with a student in our program and not actually have to come into the building if there is some reservation or they're not able to do that.
So if someone is hearing this now and they say, oh, I might be interested in that, how would they contact you?
So they can call us at our phone number, 740-653-5678, or they can actually fill out a volunteer form on our website, apolancaster.org.
And you just had a recent fundraiser, and that's pretty cool. I remember when Mike Tharp started this maybe it's been several months ago now, a couple of months ago, I guess, but it was a 200 tree, I forget what the program he called it, but you folks were involved in that.
Yes, so I saw the advertisement for the 100 Trees Please, and we try to get our students involved in some type of community service project every year so that they learn the benefit of giving back to the community, because we're raising who's going to be the future community, and we'd love for them to eventually, give back to our after-school program as well and continue to give to the community. So we approached Mike Tharp with the idea of our students doing a fundraiser to raise money to purchase a tree. And when we approached him, he said that they had already reached their 100 trees. They were well on their way to almost 200, and we're going to cap it at 200. And he said that they would save the 200th tree for our students to purchase.
Very nice.
Yes. So our students took some time and created some things that they could sell at a donation table. We created a whole activity path from Olivedale Park to Hunter Park, full of activities for kids to come and do. It's $5 for the students that came to participate, and then the community could come. We had some raffles and things like that we gave away as well.
So this would be an actual tree planted. We'll have the little stake by it.
Yes.
with your logo or whatever you want on it. And where will that be?
Yes.
Do you know?
So that'll be at the new arboretum that they're creating with
up
all
above
of the trees.
up above Rising Park up there.
Yes.
I've been up there to see that. That's going to be
Yes.
pretty nice up there. So those trees are planted. Those are actual trees that will remain there.
Yes, correct.
Oh.
So this plaque will be there always and say students of after-school programs of Lancaster. So years from now, they can come back and show their kids. We
Nice.
did this to raise the money to plant
Very
this
nice.
tree. Yes.
We've got a couple of minutes, and I wanted to touch on something too. Your after-school, maybe your summer lunch program. This is something that you've always done. We used to talk to Michelle about it, but it had to change a little bit last year, and I guess this year it's continuing in the same mode.
Yes, so that is through the USDA. We sponsor it, and they are the ones that fund it. They've provided some waivers so that we can offer grab-and-go style meal service again, non-congregate feeding. So we'll be serving meals on Mondays. Tuesdays, we'll pass out the meal for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we pass out the meal for Thursday and Friday. It includes a lunch and a snack. People from communities, like sometimes neighbors come pick up food, family, friends, childcare employees, they come grab however meals they need.
Nice.
They go distribute them to their neighborhood, to their childcare center. Yes, there's no requirement for proof of residency or proof of income or anything.
So if magically today there was no more COVID, it was completely gone, would you continue the program in the manner you're doing it now? Do you find that to be better?
Well, they've given us the waiver through September of this year.
Okay.
Whether or not they give us another waiver for next school year, we don't know.
Okay. So once again, give out the contact information if someone wants more information or even wants to volunteer.
Sure. Our phone number is 740-653-5678, and our website is apolancaster.org.
Karen Martin, who's the Executive Director of After School Program of Lancaster, thanks for joining us.
Thanks
we
for
appreciate
having
being.
me.
Good luck, and we'll get you back here.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Fairfield Today.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area, where the fountain is, and the memorials, and the flags, and all the stuff. And we looked around, and I said, "There's our bank, right there."
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I saw an interesting article about this young fella named Jamie Mathias, and he was doing a police athletic league boxing program, running it here in Lancaster. And that kind of wet my whistle. That sounded pretty good, so I've asked him to be on. And Jamie, thank you for joining us.
And thank you for saying that I was a young guy.
Yeah,
I
well, in my world, you are. I like how you
Okay.
got your hair gray. That's a nice touch you've added there.
Yeah, that was an addition since my 20s. So, yeah, right.
Well, Jamie Mathias is the coach, director, kind of do-it-all guy for the for this police athletic league, and it's the boxing program that you run here. And you are in with a young fellow that many people will know in the community, Wes Sims, who was a former MMA guy. Got into this early on. I can remember, and I've known his parents for years and years. But then, and Wes is a giant. He makes me look small.
Right.
He is a big boy.
Yeah.
And I can remember when I was reading about him, and it said he was getting into this thing called MMA, which I'd never heard of. Brand new. This has been a decade ago, probably now. And they talked about how they did that, and I saw some of that. These people are crazy. I mean, to do this kind of stuff. I mean, boxing was about as tough as anything, and now this UFC and stuff is going on,
Right.
and it is a huge world out there. And Wes was in kind of early on. Now you're involved as the coach for the Police Athletic League, which is involved in Lancaster and the police department here some too. So you've got a lot of things going on, but. I guess you were with Wes and came up with this idea that this is the way to go.
Yeah, originally it was Wes's idea. I mean, I was doing a little something here and there in town, and Wes came in one evening, and of course you knew him.
He's outgoing.
He's outgoing. Yeah. So, and he said he had an idea to start a gym, and I had some guys that were training, and that we should join forces, and we did, and kind of the rest is history.
Now you operate your gym, your boxing aspect of it, out on East Main, a couple miles from here on I think it's Della Avenue. It's the Y Recplex is where you actually have the gym there, where you run it.
Right, it's right off of Della. It's 1180 East Locust Street.
Right.
Yeah, at the YMCA Recplex.
Yeah.
So,
and you've done this now, as we say, over 10 years?
Yeah, right.
Dozen years, 14 years, somewhere in that area. And how many young people do you think you've run through the program here?
Oh gosh, I get asked that once in a while, and I really,
You need an answer.
Yeah, I'll make something up. So hundreds, easily hundreds.
Really?
I'll go through a grocery store or something, and somebody will say, "Hey, Coach, how you doing?" I'm like,
yeah.
"Sorry, buddy, you got to
Now,
help
is
me
there
out
a
here."
beginning and an end to this program,
No,
or is it just once you
nonstop.
get involved, it's just up to you how long you want to stay?
How long and how often you want to come in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it done by weight classes, just like a regular boxing?
No. We bring him in, and I tell him I start him out at 8. You can join when
Really?
you're 8 years old. Now I
Wow.
have him as young as 7 because I break the rules sometimes. And I had a young man in last night who was in his mid-30s. Okay, he helps me mentor some of the younger people.
Yeah.
But they come in, and I will have, it's your first day there, you've been there for a year, you're a pro. They all train together. So I get pros that come in and train too.
And you've had people come back, and actually I think we were talking before we went on, and again we'll talk about the mentoring aspect, because I think that's a tremendous part of what goes on with this whole boxing thing, kind of the father figure, the mentoring aspect of it. But you've actually told me that some of the people who've been through there have actually gone on to become policemen.
Right, yeah. Several. One boy started when he was 14, and his first, I say, "Hey man, what are you going to do when you get out of school?" And his response was, "I'm going to be in law enforcement." And he's been in law enforcement for, I guess, about 5 years now.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
The young people, I don't know if you actively recruit people or they just get wind of it that your program is going on, but do you see many of the young people that get involved in this police athletic league boxing that you run? Do you see them with many of them that have troubles at home? Is there problems? Is that why they get into it, or some of them just they need to develop?
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, it ranges from, I have honor roll students come in And I have kids that are recommended by a probation department, and they all work out together, and I never have any troubles. They all get along fine when they're in my gym.
So you start with, I was amazed at that, start with people as early as 8 years old, and their parents just want to see them kind of get another look at the world?
Well, yeah, I mean, so boxing's kind of a one-size-fits-all as far as, I've got kids that's been in my program for over a year that will never get in a ring and box each other, and that's okay. I just try to wear them out while they're there.
Sure.
That's my deal.
Get them out of that basement and off the
get them out of the basement, get them out
machine.
there, and get them to interact with each other. Yeah.
Is that what you find kind of, you think your roles now evolved into a little bit after you've done this so long, that they can come to you and talk about anything?
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but what I tell them is, if they have any problems, okay, I got a large set of resources. If I can't help you, I'll find somebody that can.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, I guess, part of the mentoring.
And again, you're a police athletic league, the POW aspect of it. So actually, I was reading where now you got involved in this, I think, when Chief Bailey was still here.
That's correct.
Dave Bailey was a wonderful chief for many years, and now he retired several years ago. Chief Adam Pilar is in there now, and he's actually got into the ring a little bit.
He's got into the ring a little bit, yeah. So he's a super good dude and a big supporter of the POW. So.
And so the police are involved in this in terms of probably every now and then stopping by, seeing what's going on.
Yeah, I've had different police officers come by, and then, like I said, we've had students that's went on to become police officers.
Yeah.
And they'll stop by and just kind of check in or work out with the kids. I got one right now who's going to be a sheriff. So it's not only the police but the sheriff's department too.
Sure. Talking with Jamie Mathias. Jamie is the coach and head of this police athletic league, the boxing program that they've got going here that goes on out at the Recplex, the Y Recplex, kind of behind the Dairy Queen back there off Della Avenue, if you know where that is. Used to be the old indoor tennis court. If you've been here a while, that's how it kind of started. Now, is there some kind of schedule when somebody comes in? Do they come in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? Do they come in as often as they want, or how does all that set up?
Yeah, so because of COVID, I'm supposed to limit it to 10 per class. So I used to be open for 2 hours every day with one class. Now I'm open every day 2 hours with two classes.
Okay.
And that's Monday through Thursday, every week. So yeah, and it's free. It's a free program for kids 8 to 18. And I just get them in and try to get them. You don't have to get in the ring and box unless you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But just try to come in. And the other big thing I think that we do, and we got another one coming up, is downtown cleanup. I try to get them involved in different community service.
Oh, great.
So we don't like to call it community service because they're not in trouble.
That's right.
They're doing
and that's how people might look at that.
Well, and a lot of people do, but
Sure.
they're doing it because they want to do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you're able to get the people involved in the community. I know you said that you've actually had city council members stop by and see what the program's about.
Yeah, I had one stop by last night, and it's just to stop by and check out and talk to the kids
Sure.
a little bit. So yeah.
As you look back on your time on this, has this evolved into the program that you wanted from the beginning, or is this the way it's turned out this many years later? Is there something completely different that you started out?
Yeah, well, it's completely different than how we started out.
Yeah.
So it's youth oriented. We have adults come in, but it's youth oriented, and our deal is just trying to see young people succeed. So, and doing whatever we can do to make that happen.
So and again, probably, I talk to enough teachers and an aspect that do things like you, and coaches and principals. It has to be very rewarding when you see some of the people, and again, all of them aren't troubled youths who come in. You certainly
Right.
deal with other youths. You're just there to tire them out, as you say. But it has to be very rewarding when you see them go on and become a policeman, maybe become a sheriff, or you run into them when you're out shopping and they say, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" This has to be a rewarding aspect to see that you've actually made an impact in their life.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't realize it because it's a kid who was maybe in for a week or a month.
You never know.
And you never know, or it's so when Wes and I started, there's a boxing coach in Southern Ohio, and he said that he got Father's Day wishes on Father's Day from kids that he coached, and I thought, wow, how cool would that be? Well, then about 6 years ago, I would get these, messages about thank you, for when my parent wasn't there, that you were there to help me out. And so yes, it's a super good feeling.
What's the longest anybody has stayed in the program? Has it been years?
Oh yeah, so and sometimes they come and go because school and college.
Oh yeah,
is involved.
Life happens.
Life happens, but I will say probably 8 years.
Wow.
I'll say.
So somebody got there and liked what they saw, and they just kept coming back.
Yeah, like I said, life could get in the way, but I had a young man stop by last night actually who I hadn't seen him for probably 2 years, but he'd been coming in. He's 24. Came in every day when he was 14. Every day. He was predictable as the sun coming up, and so he's been a big part of the program.
You talk to many of the parents as this moves along, because they probably have to bring a lot of kids there to get involved. So do you get a chance to talk to mom and dads?
Yeah, I try to touch base with them, and sometimes a young person will come in. I was like, hey, how's it going? It's like, oh, everything's good. And then I get a phone call or I get a text where things really aren't going well. And then, we talk about, see if there's anything I can do to help out with any issues that they might have at home or school or with whatever. Yeah.
If somebody wants to get involved in this program, do you have a website? Or I don't know if you're on Facebook with social media. Do they call you on your cell phone? How would somebody get more information on this?
Yeah. Normally people give me a call. My number is 740-503-1936. They can get me through Facebook. That's what everybody does now. We have a website,
okay.
LancasterPAL.com.
Okay.
And or they can actually call the Y. So one way or another, I'll get them involved.
And at any one time, how many kids would you say you have involved?
Oh wow! At any one time, so it's less now because I've done other things around town. But I would say probably around 50 right now.
Okay.
So I used to do a homeschool class once a week. They quit meeting. I used to work with the criminal science program at Stanberry, and of course they were down to 2 days a week or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the PAL, we're portable. Certainly our home base is the Reflex, but I've done other things around town too. Yeah.
But Jamie Mathias has been our guest. He's talked about these PAL, the Police Athletic League aspect of boxing, teaching. I didn't ask, are there young ladies in this or just pretty much?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't. It's boys and girls both.
Boys and girls both.
Well, good for them. They come there and get involved, and I think they probably learn more about life than they actually do about boxing. And in any moment, boxing is just a part of what they learn.
It's just part of it. Hopefully they learn both, but yeah.
Yeah.
Part of it.
So, well, that's great. Well, so get on there. You can look up the PAL, the Police Athletic League here in Lancaster, and get some information on that. And just if you have somebody that you think might gain somehow from this, not only from a boxing aspect, but from a life aspect, get a hold of the coach here and he'll do it. Jamie, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having
Got a
me.
great program. Good luck. Sure. Jamie Mathias with the Police Athletic League. Thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.